this and say, oh, price is broken higher, but price is broken lower. That's true. So there's a couple of things I want to say about that. First of all, if your level is wrong, you will not be able to make this work. I repeat that. If your level is wrong, you will not be able to make it work. And so that is the reason why positioning was the first process. Then we moved on to price. So assuming you have the right level, assuming you now know how to read footprint charts or you know how to use footprint charts, we now want to move on to market proof. We now want to move on to market proof. And so market proof is what we see over here. So let us dive into this specific candle, this specific level. So hopefully you can see here, this was the previous P, where if we kind of zoom into some of the numbers, right, we can see 96 for 434, right? The aggressive buyers are a lot more than the aggressive sellers. Even down here, 648 for 188. A lot of aggressive buyers. And yes, they broke above the level, but you can see here we barely broke above the level, and we actually had a wick, right? This here I'd class as a wick. Now, what's interesting here is we had a small body, long wick, right? What was going on over here? So let's bring our Reed framework back. So for those who don't remember the Reed framework, let me just bring it back for you. So the Reed framework was this, right? So price, proof, here we go. So read the bid and ask, evaluate the delta. So right now we're evaluating the delta and we're going to assess the aggression. So E and A. So when we go to the charts over here now, what we will see is, let's just break this down. So 122 for 310, 274 for 434, right? These are the blue deltas, right? The blue deltas that are screaming at us. We also see a zero at the top, right? The reason I'm detecting these zeros is because that is part of the process, right? That is part of the process. Evaluate the delta, assess aggression, and then detect the zeros, okay? So if we take this now to the image, what we can see is 0, 0, 0, 0, right? 0. We see a lot of zeros over here, right? So this is from an order flow perspective or from a proof perspective, right? What we can see here is a lot of aggressive buyers that really struggle to break above this area. So on ES, this was 61.67 to about 61.70. So we know at 61.70 there are a lot of what we call trapped buyers, right? Even here we see a blue delta, right? Blue delta, even here blue delta, right? Zero. We're detecting zeros, right? And we're seeing the market continuously break lower. All right, so there was my entry, and I'm going to break down how I got that entry. But just for the purpose of this, video, right? We want to be reading the bid and ask, and then we want to see that